Today marks 1573rd day of daily lessons, daily reflections. And today was reflecting on one statement. And I was reading that today I realized I don't need to rush my life anymore. Such an interesting statement. I don't need to rush my life. And I think that every single person have a tendency to want to achieve things faster and rush to things. But I think that even though that urgency sometimes is a great thing. Pursue great things with urgency is important. But if we rush things, take shortcuts, we actually could potentially destroy our life altogether. And I do share seven things that we can potentially consider, reflect on, because this is a very interesting topic. And I think that I myself sometimes still rush things, and I think that that's a topic that I need to really reflect on, that to be able to really remove rushiness from my life and really improve urgency. And that's also a different because when you rush, you potentially react, not respond, because you're able to respond in urgency. When you rush, you potentially could become angry, while with the urgency you can be still content. So it's very, very important to make sure that we do not rush. We have urgency, but we do not rush. So the first thing that one thing that we need to understand is that when you say that I rush my life, is that a lot of times is that becomes is on borrowed timelines. What do I mean by borrowed timelines? Because we rush on other people timelines, maybe media, maybe friends, maybe someone else. But a lot of times it's maybe we look into our own urgency that we build properly. But when we start to compare ourselves, that's again comparison. Comparison leads to rush things. But when you really create urge based on your own inner alignment, that's much, much better. So rather than looking into other people's expectations and arbitrary deadlines, we need to create urgency based on alignment, not rush from other people timelines. Number two, urgency is a lot of times, as I said, is from alignment, but rush is coming a lot of times from insecurities. I will be left behind. Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm not capable. So that means a lot of times could be that I will be forgotten. There's a lot of statements that's coming from insecurities. That's why you rush. That's why you're looking for shortcuts because other person maybe already achieved it, but you're not. Again, you're already comparing yourself with others, and based on that comparison, that's triggers insecurities. Because calm confidence doesn't sprint. Urgency a lot of times is allows to really have high standards and run fast enough to really achieve great things. Because if you really sprint, sometimes you sprint so fast and then you get out of breath and you just stop because of that. That is rush. Number three, speed is not the same as progress. And that's extremely important to understand. Sometimes you can achieve something very, very fast, but there's no foundation and it falls down whenever any kind of wind blows. But if you go and build deep foundations, strong foundations, you can be able to build massive high-rise, and it is a strong. Uh, there even massive winds could come, and still the house, the high-rise will stand. Or sometimes when you speed and rush, even a small disappointment could destroy your life and destroy your goals. So extremely important to understand that speed is not the progress. Somebody's going to achieve some kind of results, but that result is not sustainable. When I look at your progress, progress is when you really achieve something and now you're able to keep it. Number four is your nervous system is exhausted. A lot of times when we really execute on the rush and because rushes a lot of times come with anxiety. That I must achieve that, I must move faster. Urgency is calm in the present. You're urgent, you do the right things, you every single day, you do whatever you can, but rush. When you rush through things, you have anxiety, you have emotions that is negative, and when you are executing from that rush, that anxiety, that destroys creativity, destroys perspective, skills, joy. So it means that you're living in negativity, and that negativity, of course, exhausts our nervous system. And our nervous system is extremely important because when we are achieving vision, we want to have that better perspective. We want to have that energy. We want to have that creativity. So urgency is so much better than rush. So that's why we always need to ask, is my urgency creates me to rush? Because sometimes we can be urgent and then that moves to rush. So that means we need to really always ask ourselves, are we urgent? Because urgency is like it gives peace, calmness, content, while a rush creates anxiety, nervousness, uh, some kind of angerness. And as again, does that urgency elevate me or that rush is bring me down? Number five, comparison was distorting reality. And I think that's, again, this is our mission before as well, but that comparison is extremely important to mention. Because a lot of times we rush not because of ourselves, but because we compare. We compare with other people, but a lot of times we don't compare apples to apples. We compare apples to oranges, apples to pears, because other person has totally different circumstances, totally different story, totally different backgrounds, and now we're comparing one aspect of their life. It might be that one aspect of their life they are, yeah, ahead of you theoretically if you compare, but when you look into all other areas, it might be they way behind you, but you don't compare it, you don't care about it. And that's why comparison is such a unhealthy place to be in because but we have tends to compare it very, very badly. We compare only one aspect and the one aspect only, not all aspects. And that's how we're supposed to do the comparison if we actually do comparison. And when we really do the whole comparison, most likely we'll find that it's equal. It's equal when you really balance everything together. But we're not able to do that, so better not to compare whatsoever. Six, you confused arriving with boredom. So what it means is that when we rush to things, when we want to arrive at the place, we might think that now I will be worthy, now I will be comfortable, now I will have happiness, now all the things will be happening then when I arrive it. Then I will be worthy. And I think we forget how worthy we are already right now. But and it's very, very hard to get into that worthiness when we don't feel right now. It's almost sometimes even impossible. Sometimes even people achieve and arrive and still don't feel worthy. And I think that we always, when we really create urgency, we need to create urgency in developing ourselves, self acceptance, self respect, and worthiness, being able to see ourselves, like ourselves, and even love ourselves. Because I love the saying that you don't develop something that you hate, you don't like. And sometimes we just don't like ourselves, or we hate ourselves, or hate parts of ourselves. And when we hate parts of ourselves, we don't develop those parts of ourselves. And that's why we need to start liking the places, start liking the places and say that the parts of us are saying, okay, those has opportunity to grow. And so it says that the biggest room in the world is a room of improvement, for improvement. Number seven, and probably the last thing, and is actually important, life is not late. What it means is that every single person has different timelines. And if you achieving something later than later, not when your timeline, I think that's is based on faith as well. That sometimes we want to achieve based on our own timelines, but God is waiting on His timeline, and we're supposed to allow to show up. And the most important part is doing the right thing urgently, doing the right thing today, and waiting for results, patiently waiting for results. Because if you're not doing today anything, you really procrastinate. You can wait as long as you want, you'll never achieve it. So I think that sometimes we need to be honest with ourselves. Do we do the right thing today? And if we do the right thing, give ourselves permission to wait. If you do not do the right thing today, then means of course to develop our sometimes even self-worth because I know that sometimes we do not do the right thing because we do not feel worthy of that thing. And that means that it's very important to develop self-worthiness of the things that we want to achieve. And then of course we'll need to wait less because we're able to do the right things to achieve the things that we want. And I think that one of the most important things that I really love this statement that the longer you wait, the longer you wait. The longer you wait to develop yourself, improve yourself, and take actions toward that vision, the longer you wait to live a life where you can really have the things that you want, that you need. And I think that's a beautiful part when you really start working on your dreams. And I think that the one of my favorite quotes that I always stand by is that if you're not able to fly, then run. If you're not able to run, then walk. If you're not able to walk, just scroll, just keep moving forward. And that's exactly what I do every single day by sharing my lessons on YouTube. And sometimes I didn't know why I'm doing it, and but that never stopped me to do that, because I know that at some point, I will know, but why I did it, and I think that I will not know right now. And sometimes it is that life gives you a test and then gives you a lesson, because in school is differently. They teach you and then they give you a test. In life is differently. In life they give you a test and then they give you a lesson. And I exactly sometimes I think that we need to understand that when we really pursue things, a life has its own timeline. The most important part for us is to do the right thing today. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.